Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the Newspaper Analysis Initiative. These are the articles that are important from today's newspaper. We will move on to the first article. See, the first article for the day, not something that should be repeatedly proven. NHRC on re-verification of government staff with disabilities. See, the government recently issued a new rule, that is an SOP, about verifying disability certificates for jobs and education. Some departments started rechecking disability certificates of all employees, even those who were already working for many years. And what does NHRC say? The NHRC chairperson said disability verification should not be done for everyone. It should be done only if there is a clear and specific suspicion. Doing mass re-verification is unnecessary and unfair. Why is mass re-verification a problem? See, NHRC members explain that disability is not something that keeps changing. Asking people to prove it again causes fear, anxiety, insecurity about losing their job. Some genuine disabled employees may lose benefits unfairly. So, what about the new government rule? NHRC clarified the new verification rule was meant for new applicants only. It was not meant to reassess existing employees. Applying it retrospectively may create legal problems. So, what solution did NHRC suggest? NHRC suggested a simple, humane approach, that is, use unique disability ID for digital verification. Make medical re examination rare, not routine. Do reassessment only when there is strong evidence of misuse. See the next article for the day, India the beautiful, but first India the functional. See, the article is saying one simple thing, India is very beautiful, but beauty alone is not enough. First, India must become easy, safe, and comfortable for tourists. What is the problem now? India has mountains, beaches, temples, culture, food, everything. But still, very few foreign tourists come to India. Smaller countries like Singapore and Thailand attract many more tourists and earn much more money. So the question is, why are tourists not choosing India? See, actually, there are three problems. The three I's. The first is the image. What foreigners think about India. Many foreigners worry about safety, especially for women, scams and cheating, dirty surroundings, and too much paperwork and rules. So, even though India is rich in culture, people feel scared or uncomfortable before visiting. So the writer says just saying incredible India is not enough. India should market itself better: spiritual India, adventure India, luxury India, Buddhist circuit, Ramayana circuit, cricket tourism, etc. So different people want different experiences. Second I is infrastructure. Tourism starts the moment someone lands at the airport. Problems tourists face are long immigration queues, confusing signs, bad roads, poor last mile connectivity, dirty public toilets, and weak internet. So, even if the hotel is good, the journey to reach it is painful. Also, mid range and luxury travel in India is often expensive. Other Asian countries give better value for money. The third I is India itself. India can feel too crowded, too noisy, and too chaotic for first time visitors. Other issues like scammers, touts, harassments, lack of trained tourism staff, and poor service culture. Many people working in tourism are not properly trained, and the sector lacks dignity and professionalism. So, what about visas and immigration? E visas helped, but India is still not tourist friendly enough. Immigration officers are often strict and unfriendly. Some foreigners are denied entry for criticizing earlier. So, the writer says a confident democracy should accept criticism, not punish it. So, what should India do? First is better branding. Promote specific tourism circuits, use digital tools, influencers, and virtual tours. Number two, improve infrastructure, clean toilets, good roads, clear signs, and well maintained monuments. Number three, safety and training. Tourist police, more women officers, trained guides, and crackdown on scams. The next is easier visas, faster e visas, long term multiple entry visas, and friendlier immigration staff. And the last one is sustainable tourism. Protect environment, support local communities, and avoid overcrowding sensitive places. Now, why tourism is very important for India? Because tourism creates many jobs. It helps unskilled and semi skilled workers, it reduces youth unemployment, and it prevents social unrest. So, tourism is not just about money, it is a national and strategic necessity. The next article for the day, voters increasingly link their choices with policies delivery. See, this article talks about how Indian voters think and vote today and how this has changed slowly over the last 10 years. First, about voter turnout. The good news is people are still coming out to vote. In 2014, about 66% people voted. In 2019, about 67%, and in 2024, again about 66% voted. So, voting numbers are stable. This shows that people still trust elections and democracy. Women voters. Earlier, fewer women used to vote compared to men, but now women's voting has increased steadily over the years. The gap between men and women voters is reducing. So, why is this happening? Because of voter awareness campaigns, easier access to polling booths, women managed polling stations, and safer voting environment. This shows women are becoming more confident and politically aware, though some challenges still remain. Do people feel their vote matters? Yes, most people do. 56% voters believe their vote actually changes how the country is run. Only about 1 in 5 voters feel their vote makes no difference. This means people are not voting blindly, they are linking their vote to government performance, policies, and delivery. Especially young voters expect results, accountability, and action. Where are women more politically interested? Women are most interested where they see direct impact. Highest interest in local politics, especially in panchayat and municipality, then state politics, then national politics. So, women's political interest is not weak, it starts locally and gradually moves upward. Do people vote independently or follow others? There is a common belief that people vote based on family, husband, or community pressure. But data shows most voters decide on their own. Around 60% voters decide independently in both 2014 and 2024. This number has stayed almost the same. Why? Because of secret ballot, EVMs, VVPAT, these ensure privacy so people can hear advice but vote freely. Now, men versus women in decision making. Men show slightly higher independent voting, and women's independent voting is lower, but slowly it is increasing. And dependence on spouse advice is limited and it is not growing. When you compare rural versus urban voters, many think rural voters are more influenced, but data shows rural voters are almost as independent as urban voters. In fact, independent voting in rural areas has increased. Urban independence is still high, though slightly dipped. So overall message of this data point is Indians continue to vote in large numbers, women are participating more, people believe their vote matters, and most voters think for themselves, and voting choices are linked to policies and performance, not just loyalty. Okay, the next article for the day, can the ED file writ petitions before courts? What is a writ? A writ is a special order from a constitutional court. Supreme Court issues writs under Article 32 and High Courts issue writs under Article 226. These are used when someone's rights are violated or the government acts illegally or unfairly. And what started this case? This case comes from the Kerala gold smuggling case. 30 kg of gold was smuggled using diplomatic baggage. NIA and ED both investigated the case, and later the main accused claimed ED officers pressured her to falsely accuse senior Kerala leaders. Because of this, the Kerala government set up a commission of inquiry to check if there was a conspiracy against the state leadership. Now, why did the ED go to court? The Enforcement Directorate did not like this inquiry commission, so the ED went to the Kerala High Court and said the state government has no power to investigate the ED. The inquiry commission is illegal. The ED asked the High Court to cancel, quash the commission, to call for records. This was done using writ petitions. And what did Kerala government object to? Kerala said something very important. ED has no right to file a writ petition. Why? Because ED is not an independent legal body, it is just a department of the union government. It is not a juristic person like RBI, SEBI, or a company. Kerala argued if the centre has a problem with the state, it must go to the Supreme Court under Article 131. States and centre should not fight each other in high courts. And Kerala also cited a 2003 Supreme Court judgment which discouraged centre state writ battles in high courts. Now, what did the Kerala High Court say? The Kerala High Court rejected Kerala's argument. It said ED is a statutory body. Its officers have powers under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Even if ED is not a company, this is a technical issue and ED can still file writ petitions. So, in short, High Court allowed ED to approach courts directly. Now, why did Kerala and Tamil Nadu go to Supreme Court? Both states said this decision gives ED too much power. ED officers are not legal persons, they cannot sue states in high courts. Such disputes should only go to the Supreme Court. And Tamil Nadu has joined because ED filed a similar writ against Tamil Nadu in an illegal mining case. And states fear constant interference by ED using writs. Now, what is the key legal issue before the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court will now decide is the Enforcement Directorate an independent legal entity that can file writ petitions, or is it just an arm of the union government limited to Article 131 disputes? See, why is this case very important? Because it affects center state balance of power. If the Supreme Court says ED can file writs, ED can challenge state actions directly in high courts, and central agencies become much stronger, states may feel constantly pressured. And if the Supreme Court says ED cannot file writs, ED must act only through the union government, center states disputes go only to the Supreme Court, and federal balance is better protected. So, this case will decide how powerful central agencies like the Enforcement Directorate are and how much freedom states have in India's federal system. See the next article for the day. India holds security dialogue with Saudi Arabia. India recently signed a defense agreement with the UAE. Soon after that, India held a security dialogue with Saudi Arabia in Riyadh. So, India is strengthening security ties with both Gulf countries. So, what exactly happened? They talked about terrorism threats, extremism and radicalization, terror funding, use of technology by terrorists, and links between organized crime and terrorism. Now, what did both countries agree on? Both sides condemned recent terrorist attacks in India and agreed to improve law enforcement cooperation and legal and judicial cooperation. And they said they want to continue working together on security issues. See, why is this meeting important now? Because India recently signed a defense partnership with the UAE. Right now, Saudi Arabia and the UAE are not on good terms, especially over Yemen. So, the attention is on how India is managing relations with both rival Gulf partners. See, both countries are very important for India. They are important for energy security, oil and gas, investments, Indian workers abroad, and remittances sent back to India. And millions of Indians work in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. So, India's approach is maintain strong ties with both without taking sides. See the next article for the day. Government streamlines process to get green consent. See, the government has made it easier and faster for factories and industries to get environmental permissions. Earlier, industries had to file many separate applications for air pollution, water pollution, waste management. Now, one single application is enough. See, the Environment Ministry has amended the rules. Because of this, industries can apply once and get permissions under the Air Act, Water Act, and Waste Management rules all together in one go. Does this mean pollution rules are relaxed? The answer is no. The government clearly said environmental safeguards remain strong, inspections will continue. If an industry violates rules, consent can be cancelled. So, ease of business but not at the cost of environment. Are there any special changes for highly polluting industries? The answer is yes. Red category industries, that is the most polluting ones. Earlier, approval time was 120 days. Now it is reduced to 90 days. So faster processing but still strict monitoring. See the next article for the day. 66% sanitation workers in central government from SC, ST, OBC groups, DOPT report. Now what does the report say about higher government jobs? In Group A, SCs constitute around 14.2%, STs constitute 6.54%, and OBCs constitute 19.14%. These are lower than the reservation quotas, especially for OBCs. What are the reservation rules? For direct recruitment, the government reserves 15% for SCs, 7.5% for STs, and 27% for OBCs and 10% for EWS category. But the report gives no data on EWS employees. What about other job groups? If you take Group B jobs, SCs constitute around 16.2%, STs 7.63%, and OBCs 21.95%. Group C, SC constitute around 16.75%, STs 8.94%, and OBCs 27.29%. So, OBC's representation is closer to the quota in Group C. SC and ST representation is relatively stable. So overall picture of central government jobs show that out of 32.52 lakh employees, SCs constitute around 16.84%, STs around 8.7%, and OBCs around 26.32%. This is the first full data release in many years. Now what is the concern here? There are two major concerns. Social imbalance in sanitation work. SC, ST, OBC communities are overrepresented in sanitation jobs. This raises questions about occupational segregation, social mobility, and dignity of labor. Number two, underrepresentation in top post. If you take SCs, STs, and especially OBCs are much fewer in Group A jobs. This shows that entry at higher levels is still unequal. The next article for the day, Health Ministry eases drug trial norms, cuts license requirement. See, the Health Ministry has made drug testing rules easier. This is mainly to reduce paperwork, save time, and help pharmaceutical companies do research faster. What was the old rule? Earlier, if a company wanted to make a small quantity of a drug for testing, research, analysis, it had to take a test license from CDSCO, the drug regulator. This process took a lot of time, often delayed research by months. And what is the new rule? Now, no license is needed for non commercial drug testing. Instead, the company only has to inform CDSCO online. Then it can start research. So, this is called as prior intimation instead of prior permission. Are all drugs covered? No. For high risk drugs, the old rule still applies, like cytotoxic drugs used in cancer, narcotic drugs, psychotropic substances. These still need proper licenses because they are risky. How does this help the industry? It saves at least 90 days in drug development, faster research and innovation, less red tape, and encourages ease of doing business. Even where licenses are still needed, processing time reduced from 90 days to 45 days. See the next article for the day. IIP growth quickens to 26-month high of 7.8% in December 2025. See, industrial production grew by 7.8%. This is the highest growth in the last 26 months. So, factories, power plants, and industries were very active in December. Now, what is IIP? It is Index of Industrial Production. It tells us how much factories are producing and how strong industrial activity is. Higher IIP growth means industries are producing more goods. Which sectors did well? Manufacturing grew by 8.1%. Electricity, power generation was strong and it indicates higher industrial and consumer demand. And if you take consumer goods, demand for consumer items improved. Now, why did growth increase so much? There are three main reasons. Number one, low base effect. Last year's numbers were weak. So growth looks higher this year. Number 2, revival in manufacturing. Factories are getting new orders. Production is picking up. Number 3, investment and government spending. Central and state governments are spending more on infrastructure, construction, and capital projects. The next article for the day, ready to transfer Gaza governance, says Hamas. This news is about who will govern Gaza after the war. Now, who will take over Gaza's administration? The Technocratic Committee will take over. This means the committee is made up of experts, not politicians. They are meant to manage daily administration, not fight wars. This committee is called National Committee for the Administration of the Gaza, which is NCAG. And what is this committee? It has 15 Palestinian members. They are technocrats, administrators, and professionals. Their job is to run civil services, manage post war governance, and handle everyday needs of people in Gaza. Under whose supervision will it work? The committee will work under a large body called the Board of Peace. This board was created as part of a US backed ceasefire deal. The US president will chair this board. So, international supervision is involved. What condition has Hamas put? Hamas says the Rafah border crossing must reopen fully within days. And why is this important? Rafah is Gaza's main link to the outside world. It is crucial for aid, movement of people, and entry of administrators. The committee will enter Gaza only after Rafah reopens. The next article for the day, Sports Authority of India to organize International Sports Conference. The name of the conference is Grassroots to Greatness, Talent Identification and Athlete Development. The last article for the day, can international patent law handle a permanent presence in space? This article is asking one big question. When humans live and invent things in space, who owns those inventions? On Earth, this is easy. In space, it becomes very confusing. First, how does patent law normally work? Patent law is based on territory. That means a country gives patent rights inside its borders. If something is invented in India, Indian patent law applies. If something is invented in the US patent law applies. This works on Earth because every place belongs to some country. Why does space create a problem? Because outer space belongs to no one. International space law clearly says no country can claim the moon, Mars, or any planet as its own. Space is for all humanity. So the question becomes, if an invention is made on the moon, which country's patent law applies? Now, how is this handled today? International law uses a workaround. It says a space object, like a space station or spacecraft, belongs legally to the country where it is registered. So, if a lab is on a US registered space station, US law applies. If it's on a Japanese module, Japanese law applies. So, this system worked for the International Space Station because the International Space Station is divided into clear national modules. Each country controls its own section. Now, why will this fail in the future? Future space living will be very different. Think about a permanent moon base. Many countries working together, shared missions, shared data, and robots working across platforms, software updated from the Earth, and engineers modifying systems together. In such a setup, it's impossible to say where exactly an invention happened. So, which country owns the patent? Who can use the invention? Who can stop others from using it? There is no clear answer. Now, why is this dangerous? Because patents give exclusive control. In space, some technologies are essential for survival, water extraction, oxygen systems, energy generation. If one country or company controls these through patents, others may be blocked from using life saving technology. This starts to look like ownership of space resources, indirect control of space activities that goes against the idea that space belongs to everyone. Now, why does this matter globally? Because only a few countries make space rules. Most countries just follow them. And space innovation is becoming permanent and commercial. If rules are not fixed now, space may become legally chaotic and unfair. So that's all for today. Thank you all for joining.